Hi everyone, welcome to my May monthly reset. The format of this reset video is going to be a little bit different to how I've done my previous reset videos, where I'm sitting either at my dining room table or in my office and running through with you guys on my laptop all my goals. We are still going to be using my goals template and all of that and looking back on my goals for the past 2 months and what I plan to do for the month of May. That's all still there. However, the format is going to be a little bit different. I've been traveling since February, so I've traveled all of Feb, most of March, and most of April. I think I've been home for a total of 2 or 3 weeks for these 3 months in total. So not only do I have to regroup and reset on things, all things work related, but also all things home related, personal, fitness, travel, literally everything. My home is so disorganized. We still have ongoing construction here. The baby schedule is all out of whack in terms of work. We have so many delays, so many projects that we were supposed to start. Everything is basically everywhere. So in this reset video, I'm going to take you through as I reset all of the things in my life, start afresh for the month of May. I had a really good last holiday and I feel really invigorated and just fresh and motivated. Again, I don't feel like I'm ready to get back on top with everything that's going on at home in terms of my fitness, in terms of work. I have a new outlook on everything and I'm really excited to start putting all that energy into getting everything organized, setting my goals and figuring out my plan on how I plan to achieve everything. So let's get started. We're going to rewind a little bit back to the 1st of May, which was yesterday. So you guys can join me from the beginning. It is Wednesday, the 1st of May. It's about 3 p.m. and let's do a reset for the month of May. As you guys can see, it's a huge mess behind me. While I kind of talk you guys through of what's going on, obviously I'm not doing my usual sit down reset video. I thought I would also make the bed. So let's go. It is also 40 degrees where I am. Our air conditioning units are not working. So if I look a little out of breath, if I'm looking really flushed and glowy, aka sweaty, that is what it is. Now, usually I record my reset videos earlier at the end of the month. So a May reset would be recorded April 25th or something. However, last time I spoke to you guys, which was such a long time ago, which was end of February, I did my March reset. And you guys, I told you I was going traveling and things have just been, in this reset, I'm gonna do things a little bit differently. I know in our usual resets, I'm sitting down in front of my desk, working on my computer and showing you guys a spreadsheet. I'm gonna still show you my goals spreadsheet. However, I wanted to mix things up a little bit and actually take you guys along as I'm resetting for the month, in the sense that I have a bunch of organization to do, computer work, email catch up. I'm gonna actually sit there and go through all of my goals. And initially I thought, okay, let me get myself together and then I'll sit down and film the reset. However, I thought it'd just be more interesting to actually take you guys along from me and everything around me. If you guys can hear a drilling noise, we still have construction in our home happening. So we're just gonna work through it because currently my reality, it's very, very, very overstimulating for me to have all of the extra noise. When I'm actually resetting and I'm not filming my reset sitting down, this is what my reset actually looks like. So this reset, I thought I would just take you guys along as I actually reset for the month. I need to do a really deep reset of my home, of work, of just mentally, physically. I thought I would do this kind of make it a half year kind of thing, but it needs to happen for the month of May. There has been so much that's happening. Last time I spoke to you guys, it was spoke to you guys like this, not in a tutorial video or something. I was in Hyderabad in my office and I let you guys know that I'm going traveling. So to recap on that, I have been traveling. We did in March, we did 10 days in Japan, and that was for my daughter's first birthday. It was a family trip that I did with my in-laws. So it was me, my husband, my husband's brother and his wife, and then my husband's parents. And then we also have my daughter who's 1, and then also my nephew, or my husband's nephew. Would it also be my nephew? I guess so, through marriage, my nephew. Japan is a new country for my daughter. And I think for this year, I said we would visit 4 new countries with her together. So Japan was her second new country. We also did Maldives in February. So that was our first new country. So Japan was her second one. And then had a week break after I got back from Japan, and that was because it's like a trip with kids, like that trip was really kind of exhausting. And obviously you have grandparents as well, and both husband's parents are a little bit older. So it's like you also have to kind of are managing them a little bit. Food for everybody, especially the grandparents, was a little tough in Japan because they don't eat a lot of the Japanese cuisine. They like hot food, and a lot of Japanese food is sometimes served cold. They like their food to be spicy, and obviously, and they don't eat a lot of meats and stuff. So coming off that Japan trip, I felt really exhausted as it is. And then I went on my sister's trip to Europe. We visited 6 new countries on that trip. So we went to Germany, Luxembourg, Brussels, Italy. We visited the Vatican. We went to Spain, we went to Barcelona, and also visited Andorra. And then I came back home. Had a break of, again, like 5 or 6-ish days. And in that time, I actually got a lot of housework done. I redid like our closet, I reorganized it. I ordered some like new drawers and things like that from Amazon, and I completely reorganized the wardrobe. There is still a little bit to go, so I'll take you guys through that. I have a few more purchases that I need to do, and then like fixing things together. So it might be like 2 separate videos that I post up. And then we went to Japan for the second time. So the second time we went to Japan, it was me and my husband. It's our first trip that we did without the baby since I had the baby. And it was with a group of friends, but it's through a group called Entrepreneurs Organization, I believe it's called. It's called EO for short. And basically a lot of like the major cities have their own like version of the group. It's like all part of the same global organization, but each city has their own group. And as part of like being in the group, you get to do like a annual trip with everybody in your group. It's called a chapter. So like the city I'm in will have like a blah chapter, like you have the Singapore chapter or Sydney chapter or Dubai chapter. So with our chapter, we had a trip to Japan. So we went back to Japan again for the second time, me and my husband, no baby, and then like 30 other people. That was actually really, really hectic and like stressful because there's so much activities packed into one day. You literally were like getting up 8 o'clock in the morning. We were out until like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. After I got back from that trip, I was like a zombie, did like bare minimum in terms of work. And in terms of everything else, it was like bare minimum. And then after that, we went to Turkey. So this was a family trip that I did, me, husband, baby, and this was for our 6-year wedding anniversary. So we literally got back yesterday morning, the 30th of April. I'm shooting this on the 1st of May. After that trip to Turkey, that was another new country for me, Turkey, and it's also a new country for the baby. So that's our 3rd new country for the year. And that trip was really invigorating for me. Like we were like, okay, we're not gonna do a whole bunch. We're not gonna pack our days. We're also traveling with the baby, so it's really hectic. And we did massages, we slept in whenever the baby was sleeping, we were sleeping, ate good food, and that was like a trip to recover from all of the trip, like basically what we needed to do, just like sleep. And so now that we're here. In that time, also my parents came. So when me and my husband were in Japan for the second time, my parents came to visit and helped us look after the baby. And it was really nice because they hardly get to spend like, since they live in Sydney, they hardly get to spend like one-on-one time with their grandchild unless we're in Sydney. Okay, I'm joining you from the bathroom now because I have not unpacked my toiletry kit in like since February, since we've been traveling. So I thought we'd continue this in the bathroom while I unpack. My parents also got to spend some time with her, which was really nice. My daughter's still at that age where she's I don't mind kind of thing. So she does forget people, but after a while, like if you spend enough time with her, like she will recognize like, oh yes, like I've met this person before. She obviously sees my husband's parents like a lot more frequently since they do live in India. All right, so that brings you up to date with all of the traveling. I have also had like a few like health issues as well, which is like, it's not thing like, it can be serious, but it's completely like, you can work through it. Like there's some just like lifestyle changes and things that I have to make, reduce stress, work out, eat better, etc. So we've just had to deal with that kind of as a family and like figure out like what our course of action and everything is going to be as well. So my office, which I have shown you guys in a previous vlog that I was thinking of, this is what I'm going to turn into my office, like this area. It's finally like coming together. The balcony railings just got taken off and then we're just getting the glass put in there as well. So far it looks like nothing, but it looks pretty good for like looking like nothing. In terms of work, finally moved into our new space. We're not doing too many changes to our space because I'm gonna just keep it for about a year. And then we are going to let go of it. And then everybody's gonna work from home, or we're gonna have like a little like, what's it called? Like those working remotely, WeWork type of spaces. is what I'm thinking. Because right now, like, we pay a lot of rent to store basically a lot of stuff that we don't end up using a lot. And then there's only like 3 people right now that's working in the office. Like before we had a lot more, we had a product-based business, so it made a lot more sense to have a huge office space. We just shoot a lot in the office, but I think I just want to change up how I'm doing my business, remove a lot of the overhead costs that are not like I'm spending the money on them without needing to. Usually I'm okay to spend money on business and like have a good space to work in, have a functional space, like make sure I'm shooting like in a aesthetic location for my YouTube videos, for my business, etc. That's just not needed anymore, and it is a huge overhead cost that I kind of just want to get rid of. That's there. So we moved into that new studio space. Everything's like put away, things are organized, but I don't think we're going to do a huge reno on the place or like upgrade the place that much at all, especially since I'm doing a home office here, which is going to be really small, but it'll be big enough for me to shoot in and like create videos and like do talking videos and all of that with you guys as well. In my closet right now, it's a little less organized right now because I've just had a whole bunch of stuff come in. I just did a whole bunch of summer kind of shopping. Since I have given birth, I have definitely changed sizes. I've gone up a few sizes, so I've needed to really get an entire new wardrobe. There were essentially like very few things that still fit me. I'll show you guys before of what the closet kind of looked like and now kind of like the after. So there is like, you might not be able to tell, but I have made like a bunch of changes to basically everything that you see here, and like things are a lot more organized, even though right now they might not look organized, and there's still a bunch more little touches and things that I have to kind of like put together. Okay, but in terms of work, that's probably like the biggest major thing. I haven't been posting on social media like as much, so definitely have not hit my goal of like posting every day, etc. until I hit 500k. Have definitely dropped like 10k followers on Instagram, etc. That's that. I'm not overjoyed about it, but like I'm at the same time not like, I can't be disappointed because I haven't been posting consistently. I've been posting maybe like between March and April, maybe like I've posted like 8 times or something. So I know why I haven't grown and why I have dropped. So it's not like I was putting my all in and then like I was losing followers or not growing or like nothing positive was happening. But in that week I worked on my website, gave it like a little bit of a refresh, kind of updated everything. So it's just looking like a little fresh. I do want to go ahead and click some new photos and stuff for the website as well. Maybe just to update it a little bit. Currently I'm at home and we're traveling to Hyderabad. This is going to be the last trip that I do in May, and then before like I go to Asia in June. But we're going to Hyderabad. It's my mother-in-law's 60th birthday. So we're going to Hyderabad on the 3rd of May, and I have an office day on the 6th and 7th of May. So we're going to be shooting some new content. I'm going to do a mini vlog like tutorial, like how to shoot those mini vlogs that I've been doing on Instagram. I'm not sure right now if that's going to be posted on YouTube or it's going to be like on my Kajabi, like it's a mini course or something. Not sure about that yet. When it's up, I'll like drop the link to it down below. I also bought this new bag. It's a Loewe puzzle bag. This is in the size small, and it's going to be like my new travel bag. I don't know if you guys can see on the screen, but right over here I bought a new Lady Dior. This was actually as part of my vision board, I think. Like right over here, if you guys can see, I'll show you a close-up in a little bit. We should do a vision board recap in this video too, because there's been so many things that have actually come true, and then so many things that I'm like, why did I envision this? But anyway, it's the exact same color, just in a different size. I got it in like I think this is a small size, and in my picture it's the nano. I thought that was gonna be my travel bag. However, it's a little bit too like big and clunky to be a travel bag. Kind of difficult to travel with, especially with a baby, because I still carry her on my hip, and then it just kind of gets in the way. So, and then it's just like not really, doesn't fill a bunch of stuff. Still a beautiful bag, still gonna use it. But I ended up also getting the Loewe puzzle bag, and this fits so much. I am in love with this bag. It's such a good one. I have to find a proper spot for it. Bought it on my last trip, so when we were in Turkey, and I love it. I'm gonna use it for my Asia trip in June as well. That's another trip I'm doing with my sister. Right over here, I have some H&M stuff that I bought. I'm gonna go ahead and return some of it because it just didn't fit right. And if something doesn't fit, or like if I think like, oh, like I'm having some problem with this, I just end up returning it instead of trying to keep it and trying to wear it, because I know I'll never reach for it. I try to be really mindful of what I'm shopping for, because I know H&M is a fast fashion brand, but I have a lot of difficulty finding brands that have my size and like cute things, not just like really baggy stuff. I also therefore try to use like get good wear out of all my clothes, repair it. Like some of my H&M dresses like this, I think I've had this since like 2018, 2019 or something. It has like a little rip in it now, which I'll get fixed right over here. And you've probably seen me wear this in a bunch of videos and stuff like that too, but absolutely love it. So I try to like take care of my clothes and get good wear and stuff out of my clothes as much as I can. It's a bunch of stuff I bought, not a bunch, like a few things that just didn't fit correctly. They're all gonna go back and they're gonna come for the pickup soon. It's about 3:30 now. I have to leave the house in 15 minutes. So I'm gonna quickly take a shower and get ready. I have my first EO forum meeting. That is like part of what I was telling you guys before, EO Entrepreneurs Organization. Each city has its own chapter. Part of EO is something that they call forum, which is basically like a meeting they put you in like randomly. And it's like, I like to describe it as group therapy, but I know it's not therapy. It's like professional, like guided, I don't know how to describe professional guided therapy, but basically you are put in this group and you just can discuss like personal, professional things. It's really, really structured. Like everything you say in this group has to be confidential. Like you can't tell anybody else. You can't even, it's not like pillow talk with your partner, all of that stuff. Today we're having our first meeting. This is so unlike me because I'm so introverted. I don't want to meet people because I'm introverted and I've been moving around so much in the past 5-10 years. I've just kind of also given up trying to make friends with people because I end up moving away and it's really tough to make friends in your 30s. I'm just like not keen to like meet people and then like you realize how they actually are, or like, you know, sometimes somebody is just like a bad friend to you. Maybe they might be a good person, but not a great friend to you. And I just have gotten hurt in the past years of making friends, like since I've moved, and I guess I just don't want to put myself in that situation. However, I do end up feeling like really lonely. Also, part of my vision board you guys saw this year was to like socialize, make friends, have get together, have a girls group. I think that's so important to just have like a group of gals. Like I really miss that, and I still have that back in Sydney, but like I just want it to be more than like a few times a year that I see people that I like, I guess. For right now, let's quickly take a shower and get ready. I am showered and changed. I still have to do my hair. I have to leave the house in like 5 minutes. Really, I should have left the house 5 minutes ago, but I'm giving myself an extra 5 minutes to get ready. Put on my essence on my face already and then some vitamin C. And then I'm putting on this glow screen from Supergoop. It's a tinted sunscreen moisturizer, which I really like. It doesn't have a white cast. And then I'm gonna top it with this Supergoop resetting powder. I think this is supposed to be like for you to top up your sunscreen. However, I like to use it as is, so like to minimize like the glow and the sheen from the sunscreen, because I do find that it gets a little bit like oily for my skin type, but I still really like the sunscreen. I just have to do my hair now. I don't have enough time to dry my hair. I really wish I did and had time to style it, but so I'm using the Briogeo leave-in treatment, and I'm gonna pump a little bit of this. I think I've used definitely more than you're supposed to, but my hair is not having the best hair life right now for like the past few months. It's just been really, really dry. I think it's because of all of the traveling and being on the flights, and then Europe was really like the climate in Europe is really dry. It's just not faring so well. So I'm gonna just rub that through, and I'm gonna probably just plait my hair and leave it in. So I am gonna head off to my meeting. Today's not the actual formal like meeting, but we haven't met each other before, so it's just like kind of like an icebreaker kind of a session. I'll check in with you guys once I'm back. We'll open up our laptop and go through all of our goals. Hi guys, I am back home from my coffee date with my forum members. It was like a really good like first meeting, and just like putting names to everybody's faces, because you don't always meet everybody in like other like events and things. But yeah, it's so nice to meet everybody, and I'm so excited. This is probably the first social thing that I have done for a really long time, so much so I can't remember. I just also fed the baby. She is now asleep, so hopefully she has a good night rest, because last night was not really great. But right now I am putting away some of my jewelry. I have been really getting into wearing jewelry. Didn't grow up wearing like a ton of it, to be honest with you guys. It's just not something that my mom was like, put on jewelry before you leave the house. And I say that because I had friends whose parents were like, where's your jewelry? How come you're not wearing anything? And that was not an experience that I personally had. So I have been really getting into jewelry. When we were in Istanbul, I purchased some jewelry there. They have like really good like little boutiques and little shops there. So I have a few pieces, and I got this little acrylic jewelry holder. This is what it looks like, to like put everything in and keep everything organized. So while I do this, I thought we could talk about some of the goals that we set last time. So last time we spoke about goals and all of that stuff was in the month, like at the end of February for March. And the month of March, I set really easy goals. There were 5 of them. So before we go over and list out the goals from May, I thought we could look at the goals that I set for March. 1, move into our new office. I officially did that. We have a beautiful new space that we've moved in, and I've spoken a little bit about that like earlier, that we're not going to renovate it, even though that was like kind of my plans to do it and stuff, but I just don't think it's worth it, especially because I think I'm going to move out and like not renew it for another year. I definitely wish we could have kept our old space, but it was so expensive to rent that place and simply not worth it because we were not using that place like how it should be used. The next thing is visit 7 new countries, and technically, and I have done that officially. So we went to Germany, which was new, Italy new, Luxembourg new, Belgium new, Vatican new, and then Spain new, Andorra new, and I've been to Turkey. So technically I've been to 8 new countries. Next, I had 2 books, and I'm so excited to talk to you guys about all of the books that I've read. In March, I read 5 books, and then in April, I read 10 books. My usual average is around like 3 to 4 books per month. If you've been following along every single month, you know that's how much I'm usually getting a chance to read with work, with the baby and stuff. That's what really ideal and like possible for me. In the month of March, because I was traveling in Europe, there was just so much downtime to read. I read a lot on flights. I read a lot at the airport, like on the train, just like commuting from place to place. I'll go like a little bit more into detail about all of the books that I read a little bit later. Yes, I just got a huge opportunity to read. And then in April, ended up, because we had 2 trips planned, just ended up reading a lot. I'm hoping in May I can kind of strike a balance and read as much as well. I'm going to be trying to get through the Throne of Glass series in May. It's just been on my TBR for the longest time, and I've just been putting it off because it's like 8 books. Each book is pretty long, and like I know it's pretty heavy on the fantasy, and sometimes I have a hard time just like getting into it because I am someone that definitely is like computing, like what is happening. Like I like sometimes it's concepts and ideas and stuff of what's happening in fantasy books that just don't come to me as easily. I got these like gold plated earrings from H&M just because I just started to wear earrings. I didn't want to invest in pieces that are really expensive and then I don't end up wearing them because I don't know what my style is with jewelry. I don't like wear earrings and stuff that often, so I don't know like, oh, is this gonna suit the shape of my face or like the hairstyles I like to do or like the outfits that I already have. Pieces from H&M. And then because I live in India, it's really easy to get jewelry made. So what I'm thinking that I would do is that if I figure out like, oh, this is like a little pearl hoop earring and I really love it, then I would just like go to a jeweler that I trust, and then I'm thinking that I would just ask them to make it for me. That would be like, you know, in really good quality, and they give you obviously certificates and stuff like that, and I can choose like the carat of gold and whatnot. I have a few pieces in here that sits pretty well. Hopefully that slots in. I'm gonna just try to hang these like this. Hang as many things as I can because it's like just easier to see. In April, I ended up reading a lot more books because I was just traveling so much. So hopefully this month, in the month of May, I can finish the Throne of Glass series, which is 8 books. I usually find that like I could read a lot faster. Like once I'm really into a book or into a series, the beginning of like getting into a series, I could get so distracted and it moves really slowly for me. My 4th goal for March, April-ish, was to post 4 YouTube videos. I don't think I managed this because we had a few issues with editors and like moving our office, and then I was away so much that I just didn't plan properly and like schedule videos out. So that's something that we did not complete. I complete week 5 of C25K, which I have done. However, I haven't continued it. So I'm still on week 5, and I did that in March. So it's been like a good 7 weeks since I have done any running, and not too proud of myself for that, guys. I will admit that I'm not too proud that I've fallen off my running game. That was 5 goals that I set, and I hit 4 of them, so I'm pretty proud of myself. Usually I set a lot of goals in a month, and then like I only achieve a few of them, and I'm pretty proud that I managed to achieve like 80% of my goals for the month. I'm gonna do the same thing for the month of May. I'm just gonna have 5 goals. I'm really gonna try and limit myself and just have 5 goals just so I can really pursue them and not be too scattered. Before we decide what the goals are going to be for the month of May, let's go over and just have a look at the yearly goals. Moved you guys into my kitchen because there's a few things in here that I want to tidy up. I want to do like a mini ice restock as well, like just not an Instagrammable version, but just like it's super hot here and I want to have iced coffee in the morning every day. And I thought we could go over the PDF, and I have it open right here and I'm going to put it somewhere up on the screen for you guys. This goals PDF that I have is a Google Sheet. Gonna link it down below if you guys want to do one for yourself. It's something that I created for myself. Visit 20 new countries. I haven't done that. However, I did Germany, Luxembourg, Belgium, Italy, the Vatican, Andorra, Spain. I haven't done Vietnam, but I did do Turkey. So Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, and Taiwan. I am doing it in the month of June. I have my tickets booked, accommodation booked, flights booked, etc. We just have to like finesse the itinerary. It's another trip that I'm doing with my elder sister, and I'm really excited. It's probably the last trip that we're gonna do together for the rest of the year until maybe next year, and maybe like right now next year we have no plans to do a trip together. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. Next, the goal that we have is visit one new country in East Asia. And obviously I'm going to be completing that in June. I'm not going to be doing that. I haven't done that yet, doing that in June. Visit 4 new countries with Gigi. Gigi's my daughter's nickname. And we did do that. I haven't completed this yet, but since we last spoke, she's been to Japan and she's been to Turkey. We don't have any more plans for international travel this year, but hopefully by the end of the year and for December, for New Year's and Christmas, we'll be going to Europe, or we're going to like the UK or something, or maybe like Fiji, not sure. I think definitely hit her 4-country goal, or I will hit her 4-country goal. Okay, snorkeling trip session, have not done. Also, we're in my kitchen because as I've mentioned, there's a few things here that I want to tidy up. We have like a bunch of these baby snacks and things that need to be put away, and need to like reorganize my mugs as well. When I was in Turkey, bought a bunch of ceramics that I want to put away. And this area just has been like really messy. It just needs a good tidy up. So yeah, did not get to go snorkeling. You guys know that I had planned to go snorkeling while we were in the Maldives. It was supposed to be like it was an impromptu trip, so not something I was aware of at the beginning of the year. We were planning to go to the Philippines for our anniversary. We didn't end up going because the flight connections were really odd. That is something that I have not completed yet. I'm hoping I can complete it between now and the end of the year. We're hoping to either go to the Philippines for my husband's birthday, which is in November, which I don't think is gonna happen. It's a landmark birthday for him, or he considers a landmark birthday. He's turning 35, so he wants to do like a party at home with his friends and not be traveling. So I don't know if I'll get to do it then, but maybe in August or September I can go. We can plan like a family vacation somewhere that snorkeling will be possible. Okay, next, ballet or musical. Have not been to either of these, but I don't live in India. There's hardly any ballets or musicals that ever happen, so it's really hard to coordinate when I'm here. However, when we go either to the UK or Europe at the end of the year, hopefully I can catch Swan Lake or Nutcracker, or else I am planning a trip to go to my parents in October. It's also one of my best friend's weddings, so I think I will try and organize something around that time and date. Visit European Christmas markets. Have not achieved that yet. See the Northern Lights. Have not achieved that yet. However, for both of these, the Northern Lights and for the European Christmas markets, I probably have to like start planning it now. It's kind of the mid of the year, so probably need to have a plan, book some things soon. I'm shifting to my table because the kitchen is way too hot. We have air conditioning in there and it's just boiling. So I'm just gonna sit in the dining room and we can go through some of my work goals. Haven't hit a revenue goal yet. Daily posting on Shorts. I've been actually doing that really consistently. I've already been monetized on YouTube, launching 5 digital products. So far, I've launched 1 digital product. I'm thinking of launching a second one, which is going to be a tutorial, like a workshop masterclass for how to create Instagram mini vlogs. And I'll let you guys know what's gonna happen with that. If you've been following me on Instagram, you'll see that I've been posting like mini vlogs, and I'm trying to decide if I should launch it on YouTube or if I should just like launch it as a little course. And I'm leaning towards a little course because there's other things that I really want to go into and other resources that I want to provide. So I think it's going to be a course as of right now. And it's going to be a really short like course, like maybe 2-3 hours long. 320 Patreons per month. And I haven't hit this, guys. I'm feeling really unsure about Patreon. One of the things is that it requires you to be like, there's certain commitments that you have to make every single month that like I have really basic commitments, which is like 1 video per week, 1 tutorial video per week, which I'm able to meet. But there's other things that on there, I want to do like one-on-one sessions and live tutorials on all of that. And I'm not able to do those because I'm traveling so much, and it's really hard to like set a schedule with having a kid. Finding a little bit hard to manage my time, basically. Not that I don't have time, I'm just having a really difficult time with time management right now. So I feel like I'm not sure what's gonna happen with this goal right here. I also don't know kind of what I want to do with my Patreon. Right now I'm thinking my Patreon, I'm just gonna turn it like all the tutorials that I have, I'm just gonna make it into like one bundle. Right, so I might tweak this, I might not, I'm not sure. But right now, I'm not concentrating on this goal as of right now. 2 team trips. I actually don't know if this is gonna happen at all this year, because both of my, Farhan and Ganesh, you guys have seen them come home to shoot. You've seen them in a lot of my videos. They both have a lot of personal things going on, and I'm not sure if what's gonna happen with the trip right now. So far, obviously, we haven't done anything before May. It's May right now. We might do a trip in like fall weather, like September, October, but I am not sure because they have a few little personal happy things happening for them. So hit 500K. I have not. I've grown actually since the beginning of the year, maybe like 20K, and then 20K-ish. But then I also lost some followers because I haven't been posting consistently. Okay, these 2, Life is Chitra. I haven't been working on this at all. I think I will probably start working on these maybe the second half. I wanted to do it from the beginning of the year, but I think I'll start to do it from the second half of the year, and maybe to reach the 52 video goal, I'll be posting like twice in a week. But as of right now, because I'm already struggling to post content and keep up with my content for this YouTube page, I just can't take another little thing on. But once I sort out my schedule and everything for this page, hopefully everything can be back on track. Q1 closing chamfer, still kind of in the works. Maybe we're halfway closed-ish. New studio is something that I have achieved. So we're in a new office space. Next, finish renovating and setting up this house. It's still kind of in the works. Invisalign. We actually have an Invisalign appointment next week on the Monday. It's the 6th of May. Running 5K, not yet. Losing some weight. I haven't started working on this one yet, but I am from today. I am gonna get in touch with a nutritionist and schedule like a little call so I know what I should be eating. I tried to kind of wing it and like kind of be like, this is like try to do intuitive eating, but I guess it doesn't really work when like you haven't had like a controlled way of eating or something. Like I'm not very intuitive about it. I would definitely say I overeat or eat stuff that's not healthy for you, etc. So I have a call with a nutritionist who's going to set me up with a meal plan, and I'm going to try and follow that as long as I can and just kind of start from there. So this is something that I want to hit because my self-confidence has really just like taken a hit lately and it needs to get better. Working my way through a cookbook. Haven't worked on this for a hot minute because we've been traveling so much, but this is a yearly goal anyway. Find a common hobby with my husband. We did start doing yoga together. We haven't done yoga for the last month together because we've been traveling, but hopefully from when we're back from Hyderabad next week, we can start this. And then reading 25 books. Okay, so here are all of the books that I've read so far. I haven't met this goal as of yet, but I think I'll meet it by next month. Okay, let's go through the books that I've read this month. So I thought I would do this next section of the books I've read in front of my bookshelf. I did a little bit of reorganizing of the bookshelf during the month of April, just like recolor coordinated things and just like move things around. And as I tell you about the 15 books I read in March and April, I'm going to be organizing some of my daughter's picture books. She has a lot of books. She loves reading, and which makes me so glad because hopefully when we grow up we can read like books together and stuff, go to cafes and like have coffee and read books. And right now I'm just gonna color coordinate them and put them back. I do this once a month. It never stays that way. Within a few days it always goes all wonky, but yeah, this way also I can see if she has like ripped any books, if I need to repair anything, and then it also lets me see like what she's been like frequently reading. Like some books she has read so much like the pages are like falling off and stuff, so I can repair them or like get her books in that similar genre niche kind of thing. So let's, as I said, we will also go over the books I read. I had a huge hangover after reading Fourth Wing and Iron Flame in February. It was recommended that I read it to get over ACOTAR, and I found myself having a hangover, kind of just like thinking about it, kind of like just ruminating on everything afterwards. So I went back and I purchased the graphic audio for the ACOTAR series, for actually Mist and Fury, which is the second book, and then Wings and Ruin, which is the third book, and I re-listened to those two books, and the graphic audio is actually so good. I think I prefer the female speaker in the regular audiobooks of the ACOTAR series. However, this graphic audio is really good. It's like watching a little movie in your head. I highly recommend that you give graphic audios a go. They're just, especially if it's like a book that you re-listen to and you really like. I wish they had a graphic audio version of Harry Potter. I wonder if they do, because Harry Potter, again, is something that I listen to all the time, and now like ACOTAR is like something that I've listened to so many times. I can just kind of like listen to it in the background while I'm doing other stuff, and it's really nice. So for the beginning of March, I re-listened to ACOTAR, the series, but I haven't included that on here just because I've just listened to it so many times, and if I was to include it every single month, it's not fair. It's just like I'm just not going to count it as something that I listened to or read. But while I was re-listening to ACOTAR, I started reading From Blood and Ash. It's a series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. You know, sometimes like you see like words or something and you just kind of like skim read them. So Jennifer L. Yes, Armentrout. There we go. So it's a series by her. It is an ongoing series. It's not complete. I did think it was complete, but it's not. On Google or on like a website, it said it was complete. So it's so frustrating to get to the end of that series and realize that it was not complete. That was really frustrating. But I read the 4 books from that series. There is a 5th book, which is like a compendium, but I didn't read it because there's no story in that book. It's just like kind of giving you a summary of each of the characters or things that have happened, and that just didn't interest me, and I wasn't really able to like stick to that. But read the first 4 books. The books are basically about a girl called Penelope is how I pronounce it, and she is the chosen one, and you know that from the beginning. She's like chosen, she's special, she's considered the maiden of this society, and she's chosen by the gods, and you kind of like follow her journey of self-discovery, etc., in society and whatnot. That is the max amount of blurb or summary I'm going to give you, because I hate listening to like somebody's like what I read or like books you should read, etc., and then they give away the entire plot of the book, and then like when you're reading the book you're expecting certain things to happen, etc. So that's it. That's all you're gonna get from me. It is pretty spicy. It's a romantic fantasy, and I would say that it's well balanced on the romantic side plus the fantasy side. I did think at certain points, like, why is there a spicy scene at this moment? And sometimes like maybe the writing I felt like needed a little bit more editing. It felt like we were jumping around a little bit too much, but overall I enjoyed the books. It was a really good, easy read. Like once you get into it, it is like very heavy on like the lore or like these elements, which I mentioned earlier that for me, like I really enjoy that, but at the same time it takes me a really long time to kind of like understand all of those little points. So for me it was like I had a difficult time keeping track of everything, but it might not be the case for everybody, maybe just me. Definitely recommend if you liked ACOTAR. I don't feel like it's as well written as the ACOTAR series, and if you like Fourth Wing as well, I did feel like maybe Fourth Wing was a little bit better written than this one, but I felt like the concepts in this book were kind of a little bit more unique. It didn't feel like rehashed from another book or like elements were stolen or I don't know, like not stolen or like copied or something. It did feel like I was in a fresh new world, which sometimes with Fourth Wing, because I feel like the main male character in Fourth Wing is similar to some other characters, it kind of didn't feel as unique as a concept. It's a noise from this book. Okay, so I read that series has 5 books out right now, and I read 4 of them. Sorry, I have no idea why I put down this one. I didn't read The Soul of Blood and Ash. That is the compendium, and I didn't end up reading it. So actually, I've read 14 books in the last 2 months. But yep, so I completed these four. I highly recommend if you're a fan of like Fourth Wing, Akatar, in that kind of like you like a balance of like fantasy and romance. If you like things to be like purely romance, not the novel for you, because it does have other like elements of like talking about magic or other little things. Again, don't want to spoil anything. So if you're into purely like romance, you might not enjoy that aspect. But if you're also just into, you love fantasy, you might not love this because there is a lot of romance in it as well. But this was definitely like most of the books were like a 4 or 5 star read for me. I quite enjoyed like the second and third books. I didn't enjoy the fourth book as much. Oh, hold on a second. No, I'm so incorrect. I did read A Soul of Blood and Ash. Okay, sorry. The first 4 books in this series, this series is just so confusing because like a lot of the words are like repeated words, kind of like this Blood and Ash. I just get also confused about it. And then this like Flesh and Fire, the prequel series of this is also called Flesh and Fire, so it's just so confusing. But I read the first 5 books of this series. The first book, like, it's a great introduction, but it was like, it took a lot for me to get into. And then books 2, 3, and 2 and 3 I really loved. That's personally for me, I really loved that. 4 was a little slow for me. I didn't enjoy book 4 as much. I just felt like it really dragged in the beginning, really hard for me to get through. I really skimmed that book. And then book number 5 was really fast for me to get through, but I didn't enjoy it as much because I was expecting an entirely new story. But book 5 is actually just a retelling with some new components that move the story along, from the male main character's point of view of the first book. So the 5th book is like you're in the present time, but the male main character is just retelling you the story in like the present time of the book of what happened before. So it's not like you relive that time or relive the first book. You are like in the present where like things are moving, the story moves along at a glacial pace. And you just get to like learn a few new things from the male character, and I didn't enjoy as much. I thought it was going to be an entirely new story, and I was just disappointed when I picked up that book. And I think if she released it as like a novella or something, that might have been a better call instead of like, here's the 5th book of this series. And then the 6th book in this series is the compendium. It's called The Visions of Fire and Blood or something like that. They all have similar names like that, but it's just like a dictionary of like each of the characters and things that have happened. So I did not read that. Okay, so the first book that I listened to in the month of April was Powerless by Lauren Roberts. It follows a female main character and a male main character, and you kind of switch between their point of views throughout the book, which, to be honest, I didn't quite enjoy, because I feel like when it constantly switches between this point of views, and this is probably the first book that I've read that it does that for every single chapter, I just felt like I didn't get to connect or know either of the characters that well, and it kind of felt like whiplash, to be honest with you guys on that one. But really entertaining, great story, follows the female and male main characters. It's like a world of like 2 kind of split hierarchies, like the royalty, rich, really powerful beings, and then those who are poorer. It has like a chosen one ish. Actually, no, it doesn't have a chosen one ish element, because I wouldn't say the female main character is like the chosen one, but like she's like special because she gets attention and stuff like that, and she obviously is the main character in the book. That was the stupidest. This is why I'm not a booktuber. But it feels really similar to kind of like Hunger Games and a crossover of like Red Queen. And I think like I would say maybe I've read Red Queen and Hunger Games such a long time ago, so I like almost like 15 years ago or something like that when it first came out. So I apologize if I get this wrong, but I felt like the main character in Powerless so far isn't like the chosen one, like like in Harry Potter. Yeah, but it feels more like maybe someone like Katniss, where like they're in a situation and they get to prove themselves like that. But yeah, very close to Hunger Games, Red Queen kind of a mix. And there is like a next book coming out in a couple of months, and I will definitely be reading that to see how the story goes. Is it going to be my all-time favorite books? not the first one, but maybe with the series. The next book I listened to also was Bride by Ali Hazelwood, and I just want to also recap that we're listening to these. These are the first 2 books of the year, and like for a really long time that I've listened to on Audible. And the reason why I was listening to these on Audible is because I had a bunch of housework to do, so I had to put together our closet. There's a lot of like IKEA furniture building and reorganizing and all of that, and packing all of this, so I wasn't able to sit down and actually read books because we were just so busy with everything. So I ended up listening to audiobooks. But yes, okay, Bride by Ali Hazelwood. This is the first Ali Hazelwood book that I have read, and it follows a female main character called Misery. That is her name, Misery, Misery, and she is like put into like an arranged marriage with like the opposite clan people. So basically she and her family are vampires, and she's put into forced marriage with like somebody from the head of the werewolves clan as a kind of like a peacekeeping agreement. Really interesting read. It's only a single book in the series right now. I thought it was so hilarious. I really wish I read the book because I feel like reading the book is a different experience from listening to it, and I really wish I read the book because I just thought it was so good. It was so hilarious. And yeah, it's not like a high fantasy book because it's just like they're living in the human world. So I realize I do enjoy worlds where it's like completely different. For the most of the time, maybe the only one that I didn't was like the Mortal Instruments series, but it was such a funny read. My first Ali Hazelwood book, and I'm really excited to read some of her other stuff as well because it was just hilarious and really good in terms of the plot, in terms of the romance. I would say it's definitely spicy, definitely like a 4 or 5 star read for me. Okay, the next thing that I read in April, and I read this on my ebook. This was the Flesh and Fire series also by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and this is basically a prequel series to the From Blood and Ash series, but there is a reading order to these series which I wasn't aware of, so I read them separately, and I really wish I read them in the reading order that it's supposed to be read in. But this book series was really good. The second book was definitely my favorite, and it basically just tells the story of like how certain things in From Blood and Ash, that series, came to be. We follow our like a main character. Her name is Serafina, and yeah, just follow her kind of journey of being who she's meant to be. But this book series, I would definitely say like 5 star kind of series for me. The 4th and final installment of this book series comes out like in the fall of this year, so September or August or something. So I definitely will be reading that. I am super excited for that. I'm going to start putting the books away. The next 2 books that I listened to were Book Lovers and Paper Palace, and these are actually things that I have on my bookshelf as like physical books, but because I had extra Audible credit and I was going to shut down my Audible account, I decided to get these books as an Audible and listen to them while I finish some more of the housework that was pending. And the first book is called Book Lovers. It follows like a literary agent and kind of like her struggles with work and finding romance ish. I want to say she basically just like moves to the small town for the summer with her sister, and yeah, we just follow her. These book summaries are so bad. I apologize. I just want to be really mindful and not give you any spoilers because I hate when like a book series is spoiled. Really enjoyed it. It's so funny. I love this author, Emily Henry. This is the first book that I'm reading from her, and it was just so hilarious. Like as I was listening to the book, I was just like laughing out loud. It felt like it was such a cozy read. It felt like watching a rom-com, and that's probably my favorite genre of movies, romantic comedies. I just love rom-coms, and I feel like they don't make good rom-coms anymore. Like those 90s and 2000s rom-coms were just the best. And yeah, I loved Book Lovers. That was like, it's definitely a 5 star read for me, and I recommend that you give Emily Henry a go. I haven't read any of her other books, but I definitely will be as soon as I get through my to be read books I own and haven't read yet pile. Next book that I read was Paper Palace. The story in the book basically happens all in one day, and you follow the female main character's name is Ellie, or Elle, but I think it's Ellie. She kind of recounts her entire life in the book, like from like what happened with her grandma to her mom to her sister. As she moves like through this day, she's recounting this day. And I didn't enjoy really this book because I didn't enjoy some of the themes in it. If I had to rate it, I'd probably rate it like a 2-star book, but that's not because the writing was bad or the story was bad or something. It's just because I personally didn't enjoy that book. It didn't have the themes in a book that I really enjoy, which is like usually romance, fantasy, comedy, and it had themes in that were like that I really don't enjoy, that just made it a 2-star read. But like, it's still a good book, if that makes sense. The next thing that I read was a series, and this is part of the Kindred Curse saga by Penn Cole, and this series is so good. I just finished reading it yesterday, the 30th of April, and I'm thinking about it still. I have to admit, I want to go back and reread the series, and I usually don't want to do that. Like, yeah, I think like there's very few series that I want to be like, I'm going to go back and read it. Harry Potter and like Avatar have been the only 2 series that I've actually gone back and reread. But the series is really good. I think it could have used with like a better editor at some points, especially the first book. And I felt like something were maybe like a little repetitive, and sometimes the female main character and male main character really just get on your nerves. But it follows a female main character written in first person. Her name is DM, and basically you have a world of like mortals or people with no magic, and then you have people with magic, and kind of like her story navigating all of that. Again, that's my summary of it. Literally no spoiler summary. And it was a really great book. This is like a really great series. The first book I thought was a little bit slow. I would say the first book was maybe like a 3-star for me up until like the last few chapters. I was like meh, whatever. And I thought maybe I didn't think at any point I would DNF the series. I did know that I was going to continue, but it took me, I had to push myself to get through the first book, but I flew through the second and the third book. The third book was 1,000 pages, and I read it in like 48 hours or so. So really enjoyed the book series. There's a lot of like twists and turns, a lot of cliffhangers. I would say it's definitely like a high fantasy book. Like there are so many different elements to the book, but I felt like I understood all the fantasy elements. They were like a lot more well explained than the From Blood and Ash series, for sure. But if you're, again, a fan of like Fourth Wing, ACOTAR, From Blood and Ash, this is like a really good series. It's a romantic fantasy. There's the first book isn't really that spicy. The second book, I would say also it gets a little spicy, not super duper spicy, maybe like 3 out of 5 stars. I would say it's a little less spicy than like Court of Mist and Fury if you've read the ACOTAR series. And then the last book again gets a little bit more spicy. It was actually definitely the perfect balance of like spice and other stuff that's happening in the book, for sure. All right, so I'm gonna finish putting away the rest of these books, but those are the 15 books I read in April and March. Highly recommend all of them except for maybe Paper Palace. I didn't really enjoy, but if that's like the summary that I gave you, if you enjoyed that, it might be good for you. Right now, what I'm gonna do is that over here, you guys will see that I have like a row of books right underneath my TV, but I basically pulled out all of the books from my bookshelf that I have not read yet. And from like this point to this point, it's like nonfiction books. So just like a lot of business, self-help, those type, be like a better person, more productive person, happier person, that kind of stuff, those kinds of books. And then on that side are like fiction books, or there's a few like biographies there as well, but mostly on that side are fiction books. So I've pulled them out so I can clearly see on my shelf like what I have read and what I have not read, and once I read them I get to put it back on the shelf. So that's a little like motivation kind of thing that I'm using for myself. I also I'm repurposing this little acrylic organizer that I have. And in this bin, I'm gonna put in all of the books that I am currently reading, everything that actually me and my husband were currently reading. He's currently like shuffles between like two separate books, and I shuffle between quite a few because it takes me a while to get into a book. So some books in the month of April, I was literally making myself be like, I'm gonna read 20 pages of this book until I finish it. And usually somewhere between like the first 100 pages, I do get stuck into the book if it's a good one, but sometimes I need to kind of still keep pushing through. So I'm gonna separate everything that I'm currently reading into this bin or this organizer, because then I don't have to like keep taking them in and out of my shelf. They're not lying around somewhere in the house. They have a place to go, and then everything's neat and organized. So my system for books is like unread books right over here, books that I'm currently reading, like in the process of reading, in the organizer bin, and then once I finish reading it, they get put onto the bookshelf. I do read quite a few books on my Kindle as well, so that's not obviously in here or on there, but usually my system with like Kindles or Audibles is that if I really enjoy listening to or reading a book on Kindle or an Audible, I will go and buy like the physical copy of it, just so I can have it on my bookshelf. I can refer back to it, support the author a little bit, but that's literally only with my 5-star books, because I don't want to have books on my bookshelf that I wouldn't recommend to somebody. I was going to label this bin with like currently reading, but I just realized this needs to be connected to power because someone has taken out the batteries for this. So that's annoying, but I'm going to get to that in a little bit. I wanted to show you guys the books that I have currently in my TBR pile, and these are the books that I'm going to aim to read for the month of May. The first one is Who Moved My Cheese by Dr. Spencer Johnson. The next is The Pelican Brief by John Grisham. I've had this on my TBR for the longest time, and I keep like picking it up to read it, and I read like the first like 50 pages and then I forget about it. So I want to finish this. I've had this for years on my, this is a really old book, but then also I've just had it for years and years and years on my TBR shelf. And then I have also The Miracle Morning. This is by Hal Errold, and the book is The 6 Habits That Will Transform Your Life Before 8 a.m. And I'm going to read this, and I'll give you guys like a little, maybe I'll do a separate video on this, what I learned from the book as well. I thought that could be really, really fun. And books that are not in here because they're in my bedroom, but I'm not going to go in there because the baby's sleeping, is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I started reading it in February, and it's just been like a really slow kind of start. Is probably something that I should listen to on Audible, because again, I don't want to say bad things about authors because they've written a book and I haven't written a book, but I just haven't gotten into the story yet, so it's just taking me a really long time to get into a story, which is why I also read like multiple books at a time, because if I was just like trying to read It Ends With Us, I would have only read one book from February to now. Maybe, but maybe I'd be further along in that book. Another book that I haven't included in this, but I'm also currently reading about 25% through the book, is Quiet by Susan Cain. And basically it's a book about introverts, mainly about introverts, about the advantages of being an introvert, and just basically how the system of valuing extroverts kind of came to be. That's as far as into the book that I have gotten. I'm not in particularly enjoying the book. I am in a way because I myself identify as someone who's introverted, so that's been interesting to read about how and why people value extroverts, and also realizing like some of the power of being an introvert. But I guess it kind of feels more like a paper, like a journal, or like an article of the history of introverts and extroverts. So far, that is, and I like more books, I think, that will be more like this, like action oriented, or things that you have to do, or like problem solving type of books, if that makes sense. Like, okay, like you're an introvert, just stay an introvert, that's it. Or like, I thought she was going to give me like, okay, you're an introvert, this is how you can harness your introvert power, not just tell me like the history of being an introvert and why it's so great. So far, that's what the book is about. I'm hoping it will change. And another book that I haven't included in this, but I will, is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. And I'm trying to read more like classic books as well in my kind of mix, because I think they're like important books in history that you should be aware of, etc. However, I didn't read any of Jane Austen books, or like all of those books in high school, which a lot of people I think would have read. And I'm currently reading that. I'm surprisingly enjoying it. I thought it would be really hard for me to get through. It is something that I have said I'm going to read like 20 pages of kind of like every single day. So that is another book, and I'm going to try and get through like always be reading a classic just try to get through 20 pages of it like every day. I'm going to continue to try and do that. So that's it. So I'm reading currently 3 nonfiction books and then 3 fiction books, and then of course I'm also going to try and get through some of Throne of Glass. I know I'm not going to finish Throne of Glass. Is 8 books and I have 6 books here, so I know I'm not going to finish all 14 books in the month of May, especially because the Throne of Glass series is a little bit long, and these books, like, it'll take me a while to kind of like work through them, understand them, take my notes. But yeah, so I think I'm going to put my goal as reading like 4 books or something in the month. May is going to be a big work month for me, so I know that I'm not going to be like, it's not going to be a travel month like April was, so I know I'm not going to be nonstop reading. All right, so that is what we're up to. I'm currently on I have 2 more books to read until I hit my 25 book goal for the year, and then we can tick this one off. I'm gonna go to bed right now, but I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow so we can plan out our goals for May, even though the first day of May is over. But I'm gonna set 5 goals for the month of May, and then do a few more, like go get my hair done and all of that. So join me as I do my complete like reset. I'm gonna finish putting away the books and call it a night. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Bye. Good morning, or I should say good afternoon, because I think it is very much the afternoon. It's like 2:30. I just finished this morning, woke up, did the team call, just figured out a couple of things, got work out of the way, and now my like afternoon is a little bit more free. The baby has just gotten down for her nap. So right now I thought we could just go over the goals that I am actually planning to set for the month of May. So I'm going to do the same thing as I did for the month of March, where I just set 5 goals for myself. I think just like right now in this phase of my life, because I'm working so hard to kind of like regain some momentum and some ground, I don't want to set myself a lot of really heavy, or a lot of just like the quantity of goals. I don't want there to be too many, because I'm still in the process of resetting. If that makes sense. Seriously, take a shot every time I say resetting. So these are the goals that I have set myself right over here for the month of May. There are 5 goals, and then I have some like little tasks that I want to do as well, but I'm not going to put them as like a goal, but we'll go over some of the tasks like afterwards. So my first goal of the month is to daily vlog for the entire month. So whether or not I end up posting everything, or like even if it's just for like 5 minutes in a day, I do want to have some kind of a vlog done for that day. I've just been really out of sorts with vlogging and just like recording or shooting content, and I kind of just want to push myself to create. I didn't create a stop motion or shoot content for my business or anything like that. My general brief is just to vlog, so that could be anything that leaves it like really flexible for me. I just have one like command that I have to do, which is vlog. I'm hoping that I'll be able to vlog, like I'll be able to really think about the content and create like great daily vlogs for you guys that can post throughout the month. However, I know that some days might be also like a lazy day as well. So I don't know how that'll, like what the content of everything will be, but that is the plan. My next goal is to be posting on Instagram 4 times a week. I'm not going to try and do 7 times a week, which is like a daily posting, just because that requires a lot of, like, for me at least, a lot of planning and kind of thought has to go behind that, and right now I'm just not there yet. So I'm just going to try and push out 4 pieces of content every single week, whether it's a tutorial or a mini vlog or something, and 4 times a week is I think it should be very, very doable for me. Number 3 is record a mini vlog masterclass and just plan the launch. So I'm planning on recording that the mini vlog like workshop, like how to shoot, edit a mini vlog on the 7th of May already. So I already have like that kind of punched in and put in, and just planning out the launch. I'm probably going to launch that in like the beginning of June, depending on like how long the edit and everything takes, but it might also get pushed to like the end of June as well. Read 4 books. I usually do this on a bad month, like a bad reading month. So I think this will be pretty doable, but at the same time, like sometimes it takes me such a long time to actually get into a book that who knows. Like for in March, the first 2 weeks, I didn't complete any books, but then in the last 2 weeks, I completed 5 books really quickly because I really got into a series and it was really easy for me to smash out. So I'm not sure how that'll go. You guys know like my want to read like my TBR list for what I want to read this month. So it could go really well, or I could just completely flop. And last goal is that I have some daily goals, and this is going to be to walk 5K steps, leave the house once a day, and drink 3 liters of water. I feel like walking 5K steps and drinking 3 liters of water, that's pretty explanatory. I have some water right here, so let's take a sip. But the leaving the house once a day, I kind of wanted to explain that a little bit further. Because I work from home and the baby's at home, and then like I'm such a homebody anyway, that I find that sometimes for days on end, I haven't left the house. Like I haven't even gone to the garden, and after a while it does start to affect me mentally, and I want to make an effort to change that. I want to, even if it's just to get out in the garden for a few hours, or even just like few minutes in a day, I want to make the effort to kind of just step out of the house. My ideal thing is that if I can take the baby somewhere, like to a cafe or to a garden, somewhere. It's just living in a small town and just working from home and kind of like not having any friends where I live also just takes like, and being just a natural homebody, it's just so easy to spend every single second of my day at home. And I really just want to turn that around for myself. I do love like going outside and being outside. When I lived in Singapore and when I lived in Sydney, I was out like almost every single day, either like Monday to Friday, work or uni, or on the weekend meeting up with friends, going on hikes, like doing fun activities. And even when I was in Hyderabad, I was going to the office every single day. On Saturdays, I would go out with my friends for brunch. On Sundays, I would get like my nails done and all of that. So it was just such a natural kind of thing, and even just stepping out into the garden and stuff. But here I find that there's been like long periods of time, maybe like a week or 2 weeks maybe, have been like my limit sometimes, where I just haven't stepped out of the house. Maybe the balcony, the max. So it's like leaving the house. Balcony doesn't count, the garden counts, but best if I can like leave the front gate. And then for my 5K steps per day, I just purchased a new Apple Watch, which I'm not wearing right now, the Ultra Human ring, which is like the Aura ring, that helps you track your sleep, and it's supposed to help you track steps, but I find that it's really bad at tracking steps. So I got the Apple Watch that I'm going to be using, and I have my indoor treadmill as well, which I'm going to use. And it's really hot here, so I'm not sure how much like walking like outside I would get to do, but I'm going to try my best. And little Apple Watch to motivate me. I did have an older Apple Watch that I used to use pretty consistently, but it's like from 2018 or 29, no, I think from 2018, or maybe even before then, like 2017. I'm not sure, but it's like too old, doesn't work anymore. So I decided to take the plunge, buy a new one. All right, guys, that's my goals for the Month. And then I quickly
That's my goals for the month. And then I quickly also wanted to
There's a few things that I wanted to quickly add. While I was traveling, my vision board, I like pushed it into my closet. So a few things have fallen off, like right over here and over there. I need to add some pins back in. I also want to update this section over here. So this section right over here in this corner was like my wish list that I have, and then plus a few fashion photos. I want to update that because I have been feeling lately like re-inspired with like fashion choices, etc. And there's like a few outfits that I want to like pull together and wear this year. And that part is just like all about being more confident in myself to wear it, but then also really pursuing my health and my fitness goals as well. I'm still doing my vision board, but I have a quick call with a nutritionist, so let's get on it together. Hello? Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm so sorry I couldn't call you in the morning.
No, that's completely fine. I understand.
Okay, how are you? How are things?
I'm good. It's like the middle of the year, so I am feeling like I haven't gotten started on like my health and my fitness goals of the year. All right, the call is done. Just kind of like a introduction consulting type of call with the call. So she said she's gonna send me a plan soon. So I'm just getting started on like the health and fitness stuff that I've told you guys about. Resetting, okay, setting goals, achieving stuff. And right now I'm just saving some pictures. I'm gonna just take probably a pause on it because I've just printed like 10 Polaroids. I'm gonna just do my last one of the Northern Lights. That is something I want to see the Northern Lights for my birthday, but just feeling like a little like unsure about it. Gonna add that in, y'all, and then let's just put pins in some of these last little things. I'm gonna use some different pins right now. Pin. Oh, I think actually, you know what? I'm going to do one more, and I'm going to do it like book related. Is that everything in? Oh, here we go. Okay, I'm going to show you guys what new things I have added. Just printing out my very last one. Okay, let's start from the section over here. So new things that are added is this little picture right over here. It's like a woman working with this like background kind of thing, and I think like I'm not gonna have like a studio space like this or like this, and I think my studio space is gonna look a little bit more like this and like this, and I really like this kind of like aesthetic. I also put something similar up right over here with like a pin board. In the background, I have this 5 a.m. little Polaroid here. One of my aims is just to like wake up earlier every single day. This one I just printed. It's not fully like saturated yet, but just a little bookshelf aesthetic that I'm just placing right over here. This is also new. I have a bunny, and just like completely unplanned for this year, but little bunny aesthetic, what I want to build for her in our home. Let's look over here. Okay, two new over here. I have to stick this, but this is just of the gym. This is like a Pilates kind of reformer. They just opened up a new studio, which I think is so perfect because I've been wanting to try like a reformer Pilates for a while now. What else do we have? New travel pic. This travel pic right over here. Northern Lights picture here. I want to go to Northern Lights for my birthday. It's going to happen, you guys. Picture of this red dress I was talking about. And then this like loose trouser look that I also really like. I think that is all of the new ones. The last one that just printed out right now is of this matcha. I really want to replace my daily coffees with some matcha, be a little matcha girly. So I'm going to find a empty spot for this one. Maybe here in the health and fitness section. Yeah, maybe I'm just going to start with it right there and then we might change it. So this is the updated vision board. I'm happy with it. I love how like scrappy and cute it looks. Next month I might actually, I don't know what I might do next month because it already looks so full. So there's still actually a little bit of space there and here. So yeah, I'm gonna pin these down and then I will talk to you guys in a little bit. It is about 5:45 p.m. If the audio is a little bit off, I apologize. I lost my little like muffler thing, like blocks out some of the external noise. It is somewhere, I just forgot where I put it. But I want to quickly show you guys what the office room situation looks like. I know I've been saying that I'll give you updates, but since there are people still working there, I wanted them to leave before I like went out there and showed you guys, but don't think they're gonna leave until it's pretty late, and I don't want to like delay on giving the update anymore. And also it's almost 6 and I still haven't stepped out of the house, so right after the update I'm gonna go down with the baby and we're gonna play in the garden with the dogs and everybody for a little bit. I wish I could take the rabbit, also her name's Lola, to the garden, but I don't want her to escape or get attacked by something. So anyway, let's have a look. This is what it's looking like so far. So if you remember from before, I'm going to insert an older clip that we took a while back before any of this work happened. This used to just be a regular balcony with a railing going through it. And we've just put this aluminum, and now we've just surrounded everything with windows so I can put an AC unit in, and this can be a studio and a workspace. When I proposed like this area, the initial plan was to have like little like floor to ceiling windows here, but I was told that can't be done. And initially when I saw the rendering, this bottom section looked a lot smaller, so like these windows were still quite big, but now it's kind of half and half, and I wish it wasn't like that, but it just is what it is, and we just have to kind of move on. I also wanted to do like floor to ceiling curtains here, and I thought it'd be really lovely with the sun coming in and the breeze and stuff, but because of how these cupboards are constructed, I can't actually put a curtain rod there, so I'm gonna have to put it along here, which isn't, to be honest with you, ideal. It's not what I wanted, but again, making it work. I know initially I said I don't want to have like a workspace that we're in a rental. Let's not like build a little place. However, I found it extremely disruptive to not have my own workspace and just to have like be working on the dining table and have everybody like coming out and like always wanting to talk to me or just like, oh, you must not be working. I found that really disruptive and really hard to concentrate, really hard to be productive. So that's why earlier in the year I decided to get the office room studio space made. It's also nicer if like the team comes to shoot. The space is small, but at least we have like a dedicated spot for things, and like just little things like my camera charger or like just like something so small like that. It gets really hectic because somebody's always moving it because it's in the common space, and then I lose the camera charger and I can't vlog or I can't shoot what I'm supposed to be shooting. So I'm hoping as part of my goals for May, my reset kind of thing, that I'm going to finish setting it up so I can just be like productive like with work going forward, or more productive with work for the rest of the year going forward. And I want to take you guys along with me while I do that. But right now I'm gonna head downstairs and spend a little bit of time with the baby. This area right back here is also something I need to tidy up. Amazon packages, a lot of stuff that needs to be organized. This shoe area also needs to be organized. This entrance of the home is just like a disaster zone. More Amazon packages that have come. So there is indeed a lot that needs to be done, and I want to figure out like this entrance area. Over this area I want to make like a little like entry station as well, but as soon as I come back from outside let's sit together and we'll make like a proper to-do list for the month of May of everything we want to get done. Also, my outfit of the day is all from H&M. I have this crochet little cardigan, and then I have like a jumpsuit on. Started to wear jumpsuits because I thought it would be a lot more like convenient for mom life and dog life.